Good morning, Ms. Sanchez.
Good morning, sir.
Ma'am, you were charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Defendant were in a dating relationship for 5 years. On November 27th, 2024, officers were dispatched to a residential home in Harris County, Texas, in reference to a family assault in progress. The officer contacted the complainant on the phone and could hear him screaming in pain, telling the defendant to get off of him and to stop pulling his hair. Officer asked the complainant if the defendant was still assaulting him, and the complainant responded yes. Defendant fled the scene on foot when officers arrived. The complainant gave the direction of travel to the officer. The complainant stated he and the defendant had been putting up Christmas lights after drinking, and an argument ensued. The complainant said the defendant began attacking him by pulling his hair, causing pain. The complainant fell to the ground, and the defendant proceeded with kicking him. The complainant said that when the defendant drinks, she gets aggressive and wants to fight. Officers returned the defendant to scene and she would not cooperate, was yelling obscenities at the complainant, and was acting belligerently.
Okay. Ms. Sanchez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I will randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, I will put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If you don't have anyone to pony up $5,000 to $10,000 on the bond for you, guess what happens? You'll be stuck like Chuck until this case is over with. And I'm going to tell you, it takes damn near 9 months just to get a 911 tape. Behave while you're out there in the free world, or I will take the free world away from you.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Tell me, what do you do for a living?
I'm a recruiter, skilled trades, and then operations coordinator.
You have an income.
Not at this moment. I recently got laid off in October.
Okay. I have an application already on file. Do you want a court-appointed lawyer, ma'am?
At this time, yes, sir.
Okay.
If you could, please.
We need to talk about the complaining witness.
So Conrad has spoken to the complainant and he would like no contact as well as a residency restriction, Judge.
Okay. You heard that, Ms. Sanchez. There's a protective order that has been issued in this case. The protective order was issued on November 28th. I would suggest you get to know it. If you violate the protective order, they can and will file a violation of a protective order against you, and that is the capital murder of misdemeanors. It's one of the worst cases you could pick up over here.
Oh,
Do
yes,
you
sir.
understand? So
Yes, sir.
don't have any contact with them,
That's not a problem, sir.
in possession of weapons, and don't go back to the house listed on the protective order, which is at the Woodlands West.
That is not a problem, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to have you sign a receipt with Ramona. We'll have you get with Fleischer for your bond conditions, then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box while we
Yes,
find your lawyer. Please. All right, so you are Justin Sertucci.
Sir.
Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On November 27th of 2024, officers were dispatched to a person down call at the intersection of Bagby and Elgin Street. Officers observed the defendant's motor vehicle stopped in a moving lane of traffic. HFD advised that when they arrived earlier, the defendant was in the driver's seat behind the wheel with his foot on the brake and the vehicle in drive. HFD EMT further advised that when the driver woke up, he admitted to having been drinking. Officers observed a strong odor of alcoholic beverage and glassy eyes on the defendant. SFSTs were conducted, 6 out of 6 HGN, 8 out of 8 walk and churn, 4 out of 4 one-leg stand. On the way to JPC, the defendant threw up in the patrol vehicle. DICs were read but refused, and a search warrant for blood was signed and executed. He does have an eligible driver's license, Judge. He doesn't have any prior DWIs, but he has juvenile history.
Okay. Mr. Sertucci, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have valid liability insurance in your name? Do you have car insurance?
Yes, sir.
All right. I am ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using alcohol or illegal drugs, Your bond will be revoked. You will go to jail. No more PR bonds. You understand?
Sir.
I see that you have a lawyer. Because you have a lawyer, we will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with Mr. Saman. He'll tell you when you have to come back to court. For now, I'll have you sign a receipt with Ramona. We'll have you get with your bond conditions with Felicia, and then we'll have you take a seat in the back, wait for Mr.
Sir.
Omar. All right? Please.
Is this a situation?
It was strictly bond on both of them.
Okay. Mr. J.A.s, I hope that you understand that we mean business. I will protect every person of Harris County. I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care if you're a small farm animal. I will protect every single person. You don't put your hands on anyone. And if you pick up a third case, I'm going to do la cucaracha on all of your bonds. Do you understand? I'm going to go absolutely bonkers on your bonds if you pick up a third case. You are not to have any contact with any of the complaining witnesses in these cases. You're not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs. You're not to be in possession of any weapons. Anything else, State?
You said no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons. We would also say no contact with the complainant,
Yeah.
Judge.
I
And
think that
maybe
goes
a
without
residency
saying.
restriction.
So we did a,
He lives there.
we removed the residential restriction yesterday, the residential restriction, because counsel said that he lived at that address, but I need to make sure now that he's out, that she's not living there. Do you have, oh, she's in custody. That's right. That's right. She's in jail. Okay, so no, I'm gonna leave it as, so the complaining witness is in custody here with us because she has an open PCS out of Travis County. And I don't, do you still have the cause number on that one? Is there a bond that's,
Number yet, it's bond denied, so
it's bond denied? Okay, so it's bond denied, so she can't get out until that 10th day hits, at which point we will set a bond and then go from there.
Yes, sir.
So you know now what's expected of you. Don't mess up. Do you understand? You must also remain in contact with your lawyers. If your lawyers tell me that they can't get a hold of you because you're playing games and you're not responding to phone calls, text messages, likewise, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. I'm not asking for much. I just want I want my county protected. That's it. And I'm going to do it at all costs. Do you understand? Okay. All right.
Thank you, Honor. Excuse me.
Got it. So
You want to remit all?
hey, shh. All right, good morning, Mr. Cordova. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. It's a class A misdemeanor. You're looking at up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. Looks like they're going to reduce it to a first. You need to understand that it's still 2 on your record now. So after today, bless you, you ever get pulled over with the faintest smell of alcohol, dope, whatever it may be, what do you think's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
Back here.
Not with me. From now on, you've now graduated to felony court. 2 and 2 make 3. A third DWI, you're looking at a third-degree felony, a minimum of 2 years in prison, a maximum of 10 years in prison. And I'm going to tell you that you don't have to be falling down piss-ass drunk where you urinated and puke everywhere. Just the faintest smell of alcohol. They're going to look your record. They're going to assume if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, they're going to just rather take you off the street. They're not going to try to be cool and let you go. What happens if you kill a family of 5? That officer's career down the toilet. So in an effort to make sure that doesn't happen, they're just going to take you off the street. And you thought now was bad. Wait till you get to felony court. All you have to do is don't get into a car, even if you've had to set one button on a phone, $30 will take you wherever you want to go in this life. Don't matter where you want to go. How much money have you spent? I want you to know that you are now skirting, by doing this probation here, the mandatory 5 days in jail that you would normally be having to do. But I want you to understand that I'm going to hold you to this probation. Shh. And if you fail to do what you're supposed to do, I'm telling you now, I'm going to lock you up. And if I find that you have a problem with dope, you have a problem with alcohol, I can and will most probably put you in a rehab facility in the jail. Do you understand? No alcohol means no alcohol from any source, no matter how long, whether you're a month away from completing probation, whether you're 1 week. I can't tell you how many times people get back here because they say, oh man, I've got a month left on probation. I've got 2 weeks. They're not going to do anything. Boom, you get tested on the last week of probation. So get ready. You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, it will go on your record. You can never take this off. You understand? This is what you want to do. How do you plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated? Guilty or not guilty? I will find you guilty and I'm going to sentence you to 180 days in jail. I will probate that for 12 months. As part of the probation for you to successfully complete it, you must do a repeat offender DWI education class. You must do one victim impact panel, a T-RAS, which is an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need. If they assess other conditions, you must fulfill that. It could be intensive outpatient treatment. It could be supportive outpatient treatment. It may be something else. If they assess something further, you must complete it. No drugs, alcohol, random urinalysis, guardian interlock, no breath test refusal. If you were pulled over in a car and an officer asks you to submit to a breath test, you must do it while you're on this probation.
Your Honor, if I may, Mr. Cordova has a scram and he'd like to keep that because he has hired a driver. We know it's a first DWI, DPS, sometimes they may come back and do a hard suspension or 90-day, and we don't want any missteps. So he's okay with that if the court is.
Problem is, I've been paying it for you now. I can't pay for it anymore. You're going to be responsible for this thing on your own now. That thing right there is $500 a month that I've been eating, so you don't have to pay for it. So I don't know how your finances are, but an interlock is typically, what, $100 a month? I don't know, but that, it's at least double, if not more, than what an interlock costs.
Can you afford that?
That's fine.
I can't pay for it. I don't, while he's on probation, I can't pay for things.
And that's just my concern. If he gets the breathalyzer, he's not driving, then it's going to be a violation because he's not driving.
We do portable devices.
We tried that, Judge, and I don't trust those. I've had a lot of, I think he feels the same. There's been so many issues.
It's up to you. I'm happy, whatever you do, just make sure you maintain compliance. Don't stop charging it. Don't stop paying for it, because at that point, all we're going to end up doing is issuing a warrant for your arrest. $100 donation to the Houston Food Bank and 30 hours of community service. Give children. How many kids you got? I'd rather, instead of the community service, do a parenting class. I think
Right,
people
sure.
would be better served with doing a parenting class and just mindless
I think that's very.
dumbass work on the street. Forget about it. No, you're better served learning things in this life than to just do menial work. The idea is that you learn so that you don't come back and that you don't graduate to felony status, because then I'll tell you what, this is going to be hard on you. But when you end up with a felony on your record, it closes so many doors. It's unreal. You lose the You lose the right to vote. You want social services from the state, forget about it. Not when you're a convicted felon. You know, it just closes so many doors. So you need to do everything in your power to prevent that from happening. How do you plead to this? You said guilty? How do you plead?
He did.
All right, I'll find you guilty. I'll send you to this agreement. One more thing is there are fines and fees that you're going to be required to pay. There's a supervisory fee that you're going to be required to pay for this DWI. It's a $6,000 fee. We will give you time to pay it. I give him 2 years. But-
We did discuss, he makes a good salary, but he's got 5 children. So I don't know if the court would consider waiving that or,
So what we typically do is we give him 2+ years to pay it, and it ends up being like $100 a month. Just don't stop paying it, you know? What I'll do is I'll waive the core costs,
fabulous thing.
okay? So that'll take off like $500, but
Right.
you'll have to pay the supervisory fee. It's a lot, but you know, we'll give you time to pay it, and don't stop, because if you stop, we will issue a warrant, and your butt's gonna sit $100 for every 1 day for every $100 you owe. Hopefully this is enough to get your attention, you know? Because at the end of the day, you're walking out of here when you should be doing jail time.
Right.
So it's gonna cost you a pretty penny, but hopefully that's enough to get your attention. You understand?
Sure.
Okay, man. Good luck.
Thank you,
Thanks.
appreciate you.
Sure.
When is when is the license?
Oh, yeah, I have to suspend a license.
No, and that's,
I'll do it for a year, and then, you know, show me that you're good. I'll entertain an occupational later on if he's doing well and in compliance with the probation.
sounds good. Thank you.
And the fee, Judge?
6,000.